Imaging devices in practice are not a new concept, but neither are they always an easy thing for independent practitioners to invest in. The associated costs, integration into practice, and marketing to patients are all valid considerations for optometrists to have. In partnership with Optos, OT explored these issues and their solutions with 3 independent practitioners. First, we discussed their key considerations when making the decision to invest in the camera.
When I was considering it, obviously it is a fairly hefty purchase. And I think one of the main concerns about anyone who wants to buy one of these instruments is just the raw cost of it. Even if you do it on a lease, it's a fairly hefty monthly commitment.
Before we purchased our first unit, and even when we've had the opportunity to upgrade our machine, we've had to sometimes pick our moment, as it were. You know, we've not always been able to be in a position to upgrade immediately.
What we did is we had a loan instrument for a week, and prior to that, we did a poll in our practice. So we said to our patients who are coming in for about a week or 2, if I remember rightly, that we were considering getting this retinal scanning instrument. This is what it did. This is how much we think we're going to charge for it. Would you have a scan if I had it here with me right now? That was very interesting because even before we had the loan instrument, we had, a really strong take up of a positive response. So if you just then multiply how much you're going to think you're going to charge for it, multiplied by the positive response, it more than covered the lease. We had a loan instrument for a week. We saw that the take up and the response was fantastic, and we signed on the dotted line.
Chair time's always been a consideration, how we're going to fit it into our normal routines in the patients. But we found over the years that things like diary management, incorporating it into part of your pre-screening routine is quite important. Saves you a lot of time during your clinic.
I would say it saves time rather than takes up chair time. If you think about how many times you get at your Volt lens, or how many times you do an ophthalmoscopy, that takes you 10 minutes and you can't get a decent view, you've got to delay the patient has to wait outside to come back in again. You've taken about half an hour to do it, what in the Optos can do in under 5 minutes, in fact under 2 minutes often, even with elderly patients. So I've got a practice full of elderly patients here. And small pupils are not an issue. Great images all around. I'm absolutely astonished.
Having taken the plunge and either purchased or loaned an Optos imaging device, what key learnings did you discover about integrating it into your practice in order to get the most out of the technology from a business and patient perspective?
I think the key learning is that your front of house team and your optometry team both need to up their game in their communications. We like to do sort of almost a scripted approach to try and instill best practice across the individuals in the practice. The message has been refined to the point where we see significant uptake of the instrument. And you want to craft your message so that you get to that point. And that will change over time. We didn't have a 90% uptake on the first month that we got it. We changed the message, we changed the way we approached our patients with it. And then slowly we started to see, a better uptake of the instrument as we got better at communicating it and integrating it into our site test routine.
It helps save a lot of your chair time if the communication is good and they can communicate the benefits to the patient. That's important. In Iris practice, they're doing that from the consulting room. We do a bit of both, so we do it from the consulting room and we do it outside the consulting room.
It's all about the pitch. It's all about the customer journey that leads up to and during that pitch.
Going through what you are seeing with the patient is very important. So when I have my patients in my room, I will show them the images. I'll explain to them exactly what I'm seeing, what I'm looking for. That's what they're paying for at the end of the day, is the explanation of what you're actually doing, showing them and explaining the benefits and why they should have it on a regular basis.
If you get that, all those little dots joined up properly, then you see a take up of 85, 90, 95% like we do.
It's not a steep learning curve, but it's a bit of a learning curve to know what's going on in the periphery of the retina. So particularly the peripheral lesions. We've got to interpret them and know what they look like, and know not to worry or to worry, and know when to refer, not to refer. So that training is actually crucial. The optics team run a forum for the Optos machine, which is absolutely invaluable for odd and weird images that you might see. And Optos, they're always there as a backup. If the thing breaks or goes wrong, you give them a ring and they come out and sort it out for you. It's very, very good.
They leave with this very powerful visual image of the back of their eye and what you've done and what you've possibly seen and not seen. And that gives them this huge sense of security and safety and a feeling that they're in a very good pair of hands.
I mean, the things you see with the unit that you would not have seen with Volk and Direct is incredible, really. I mean, I could count on two hands the number of patients that we've seen over the years, and it's nearly 20 years, who would not be here had we not have had that machine. It is that invaluable. It's what's going to make you stand out on the high street against everybody else. At the end of the day, this is probably one of the most important examinations that any person could ever have, and it should be seriously considered to be, part of your routine examination at the end of the day.
We get patients who ring us up and say, I just want to have one of those scans. I don't want an eye test. I just want a scan.
Even this week, we had that with one particular patient. Said, right, this was amazing. I want my dad to come, my mother to come. I want them to have the same tests as what I had, to make sure that their eyes have been checked in a thorough manner.
As I email every image I take, if the patient wants it, to their email address. I have all it, and it's such a good thing to do. They can take it home, put it on the wall, print it off, show their mates. It's absolutely fun. It's the best marketing tool ever to download that JPEG and send it by email.
Loyalty is a hard thing to come by. If you look at the lifetime value of a customer in our field, if you're a good independent practice, increasing your average spend each time, the lifetime value of a customer is enormous. You really got to try and build for that lifetime value, and an Optos instrument helps you to retain patients. Full stop. You go home at night as an optometrist, having seen the whole retina mostly, not a bit of it like that. If you said to an optometrist who doesn't have an Optomat, what makes you lose sleep at night? The first thing they say is, did I miss something during the 15 tests I did today? Now, you have an instrument that you can be pretty sure you haven't missed anything once you've done one of those scans. And it pays for itself, and it engenders loyalty, and it makes you look good, and it differentiates you from everybody else. There's no downside here, except maybe it takes a bit of space in your practice, and you need to learn how to use it. That's about it.